Hello habaneros and welcome to another episode of Hubba Hacks. Before we start, I have a question for you. How many people said something good about you online today? What about people who said something bad about you online? Do you have any idea? Do you even know where to go to find out that information? If not, you are in the right place because today we are going to learn all about brand mentions and brand alerts and all the software tools that help you manage them so that you can always know what people are saying about you online, whether it's good or bad. So we've got a bunch of tools to look at. Some of them will be unfamiliar and some of them will be very familiar. So the first one is called BuzzSumo. Come on, let's go have a look. Okay, so before we dive into BuzzSumo, let's take a look at the brand we're going to be using today. And the brand is called Primal Kitchen. Primal Kitchen has a variety of health food products, such as this really popular mayo, some avocado oil, and a really powerful founder here, Mark Sisson, who does show up in the web a lot. So let me caveat all this lesson by saying that if you're just starting out, you might be disappointed by the mentions that you're going to see because there might not be a lot of buzz about you. But as you get bigger, of course, that will all change. So all the alerts and things we're going to do today are just good habits to get into, whether you're just starting or whether you're a really established brand. So let's pop into BuzzSumo. So you might have come across BuzzSumo before, really as kind of a marketing promotion tool, but we're going to be using it as a way to monitor our brand mentions. So I'll just log into BuzzSumo here. And I'll go over to the monitoring tab here. So you can see I've already set up an alert for Primal Kitchen, and you can see that they've got 1 mention today, 41 mentions in the last 7 days, and 175 in the last 30 days. And it'll give you a nice little graph, and it'll show you here all the different articles where Primal Kitchen was referenced. Pretty cool, right? So if you're in charge of monitoring this brand, or if you're the owner, that's all really good stuff for you to see. So let's just have a look at how I built that. So I'll pop over here into Edit. And here you can see I just simply put in the keyword Primal Kitchen. And I chose the exact match, which means that it will use both words together one after the other. You don't, if you have a compound word like Primal Kitchen, you would want to make sure that exact match is on, or else it'll match anything with the word primal and anything with the word kitchen, which is clearly not what you would want. Now let's modify this, because one of the interesting scenarios you might have is you have a particular product that you want to track as well as your brand. This is very common. So I know from looking at Primal Kitchen that they have a really popular mayonnaise. It's this organic paleo kind of mayonnaise. So if I just go into this, results must also contain mayo, and we do update that alert. So now it's going to be looking for, and we'll just do a refresh here too. So you can see that it's changed, and now it's only going to be looking for mentions that contain both Primal Kitchen and the mayo. So you can really just explore here all the different ways that you can, you'll know your brand and you'll know which keywords to put in. But the real power of BuzzSumo is that they have a way of really keeping track of everything social. So anytime you get mentioned on all the other social networks, BuzzSumo really picks that up. You can also include negative keywords. So if you have a particular word that's associated with you that you don't want to show up, a great example is actually Hubba. Hubba is a great name, but it also has some colloquialisms like the term Hubba Hubba or Hubba Bubblegum, which is another brand. So we don't want to get mentioned anytime someone uses the word Hubba Hubba or bubblegum, so we use those as negative keywords in our account. And then the nice thing is too, you can also suggest when you want to get updated. If you are monitoring this as your only job, you might want to get real-time notifications, or maybe a daily digest is good enough for you. All right, so that was BuzzSumo. Not too bad, right? Really simple way for you to track those brand mentions. Now, the next one we're going to look at is actually an SEO tool called Ahrefs. I know it has kind of a funny name, but it's super powerful. So come on, let's go have a look at that one. So when you log into Ahrefs, this is what your dashboard is going to look like. And you can see that we're tracking our Hubba domain here. And we're not going to dive into this here. Ahrefs is really an SEO tool that has some powerful brand mention monitoring tools as well, but they're primarily an SEO tool. So if you're not interested in optimizing your SEO, a lot of this information will be useless to you. Totally fine, let's ignore it for now and pop into the alerts tab. So you can see that you can get different kinds of alerts. So I want to get notified anytime somebody links to me, which is called a backlink. I want anytime a new keyword I rank for. So anytime you show up in Google for a new keyword, Ahrefs can tell you that. And the one we're interested in here is mentions. So again, you can see here that I have one already for Primal Kitchen. And if we go in here and just edit that, you can see that I've got Primal Kitchen in quotes. And the reason is, a lot of the reason, like we talked about with BuzzSumo, is that if you don't put it in quotes, it will basically look for each word, so primal and kitchen, which is not what we want. We don't want to know whenever the word primal is mentioned. We want to know when the word primal kitchen together gets mentioned. You'll also notice that I don't have capitals. Ahrefs doesn't require you to have any case. So even if you have, a name with different capitalization, it's going to ignore that and just put everything into, it's called down case. And then you can also say, I want to block certain domains. So the reason why this might be important is a lot of times you might start to see spam show up where people will create fake Twitter accounts, fake Instagram accounts. If you're not exposed to that world, when you start putting these mentions in, you'll find that will happen. You can just block those domains from showing up in your report. And in the mode, we have it set to everywhere. You can also just say that only pages where your name appears in the title, or only pages where your name appears in the content. There's very specific SEO reasons why you might want to do that, but because we're just interested in brand mentions, I would put everywhere. And then just like BuzzSumo, you can say, how often should I remind you? And you would just say either daily or weekly. I like daily. And yes, please, can you send me an email? So that's it. It's very simple in Ahrefs. It's just a matter of creating a new alert and making sure that whatever your brand name is, you're putting it in quotes. All right, so that was Ahrefs. Now, again, it's pretty powerful, but I highly recommend you get a few of those brand mention alerts in so that you've got some coverage. Now, the next tool we're going to look at should be familiar to most of you because it's Twitter, but we're going to use it in a slightly different way. So instead of posting content, we're going to use it to consume and see what people are saying about us, either good or bad. So come on, let's check that one out. Twitter has a very powerful search feature that not a lot of people remember. So you're actually going to want to change your URL up here. Don't use the little search box in Twitter. If you go to search.twitter.com, you'll get exposed to the really advanced search that Twitter has. And in fact, I would just jump right into the advanced search to really get a feeling for all the different things that you can search for. So here you can say, I want to search for any tweet that has just these words in it, this exact phrase, any of these words, none of these words, and you can combine all these together. So you can really design a very powerful search. You can sort by language, you can just filter it by certain accounts, certain Twitter handles, and then you can add location around it too, and you can even add a date range. So this is a very powerful feature. Now, Twitter does not let you sign up to alerts or emails like BuzzSumo and Ahrefs does. So what we might do here is say, I want to look for, again, the phrase. So again, whenever you see the word phrase in any of these searches, a phrase would be, it'll use the order in which you put the words in. So I won't have to put it in quotes this time. I can just say Primal Kitchen. So the phrase Primal Kitchen is what it's going to look for, 2 words. And you know what? I want to say I don't want it to include mayo. So many people are talking about this mayo. I only want to see tweets that do not talk about that, to see what else people are talking about. And other than that, I don't care. That's all I'm going to search for. So let's see what we get. So again, Twitter's search is going to give you just a list of all the tweets here and all the people who are tweeting about it. So this is actually what I use it for. Not only can you just keep track of your brand mentions and what people are saying, but you can also look at who is saying it and some photos as well. So you could go to people, for example, and just start following these people. Clearly, they're talking about you, whether it's good or bad. Or you could pop back into the Twitter feed here and click on each of these users who have good things to say about you and follow them. Or if they're saying bad things about you, you could always follow them and engage with them. Like, hey, sorry you had a bad experience. Like, I'm here to help. So super powerful. All right, so that was Twitter. Now the next one is even more familiar. In fact, you probably use it every single day. Of course, we're talking about Google. Google has a lot of features, some known and some less known, for monitoring your brand mentions online. So let's go see what Google can do for us. So again, using our Primal Kitchen example, I'm going to use quotes. I always use quotes when I'm searching in Google because Google is so good at finding different things that by putting it in quotes, you force it again to look at the words when they're together, and you make sure that you're not getting any weird results where they're just matching anything primal and anything kitchen. So think of it like an and sign. And what's again great is that it's telling you using Google's suggested search, not only are these suggested, they are in fact the most clicked things. So Primal Kitchen Canada, of course I'm in Canada, so that's why I'm seeing that one. Primal Kitchen Mayo, we've already talked about that. So it's suggesting to you, hey, most people are searching for these things here. So again, if we just click that. So again, you're just gonna get a bunch of different things around Primal Kitchen, but you could just dive into news. So does Google have any, what it considers to be news stories? Primal Kitchen is carried in Whole Foods, so a lot of their news is typically around them getting into new retail stores. Okay, so that's just what you already know about Google. Now if we pop into, so if you go to alerts.google.com, you're gonna get a very familiar interface that we've already kind of seen. And again, it's saying, great, we're gonna monitor the web and send you an email anytime we get something new or anytime something changes. So you can all guess what we're gonna pop into this box. We're gonna put our quotes again and say Primal Kitchen. This is where you would put your brand name. And then I like to just also do the show options here. Now it's going to in real time give you a preview of all of the, like a sample of what you would get in your email if you were to subscribe to this, just as a way to sanity check, hey, is this really what we want? And you can see that we've got web results, we've got blog results, news results. So just like we did on the last tab where we click through, you're gonna get all of that delivered to you. Now again, you can filter this. So you can say, I only want news articles. I only want videos. I only want anything involving my stock if you're a publicly traded company. So these are more advanced things that you can set up for yourself later, but just having a general brand alert is always very good. The how often is an interesting one, because if you say as it happens, you might get inundated with results depending on how popular your brand is. So Google has a way of saying, look, let's just give me the best results. So it'll try to filter out any spam or comments or social accounts that it doesn't think are very legitimate. And you can then also say, just send me that once a day. And again, what's nice is you can actually use all of those advanced things that we saw in the Twitter search. The main one you're probably going to care about is the minus sign. So you can do the minus sign and then Mayo. And now what Google will do is it'll filter out. So the minus sign means I don't want results that include the word. So here you can see that our results have changed, and now we're only looking at Primal Kitchen results that don't have Mayo in it. So here's the keyword collagen. They also have a collagen bar. So if I added collagen there and we look through our results now, you'll see that that collagen result is gone. So this is really helpful if you have a lot of different products or you have very different products and you want to keep track of them. What you would do is create an alert for your brand and then subtract out the other products that you think might add noise to your results. So the minus sign is a really popular thing to do. And in fact, just when you're searching Google, again, we can just copy and paste this. This is sort of a little known search modifier. You can just pop it into Google as well. So if you're looking for Primal Kitchen, but you don't want to see their mayo, you can put that in there. If you're looking for, so you know, if you type in Hubba and then minus gum, you're not going to get any of the Hubba Bubba links when you search for Hubba. Well, that's Google. I love Google Alerts and I use them all the time. And the best thing about it is they're free. So definitely go in there and make sure you're using Google Alerts. Now, the last tool we're going to look at before we go is Instagram. Hopefully everybody here knows Instagram and probably uses it personally or socially. And there's a lot of really powerful ways a brand can use it, especially for brands with a very visual presence who post a lot of pictures. So come on, let's go have a look at Instagram. So the reason why Instagram is a little more limiting, you can tell by their search here. So if I type in Primal Kitchen, Instagram will not let me just search for that. So I must search for one of the things in this list. So if I just pressed enter right now without clicking on one of these, it'll just bring me to the first result that it finds. So it's not an open search the way Twitter or Google or any of the tools we've looked at are. It's a very specific kind of search, which is why it might not be applicable to everybody. So it's going to give you the list of accounts, which is the primary kind of unit in Instagram. It'll also give you locations. So, you know, there's clearly a restaurant or a place called Primal Kitchen. And that will show you pictures that were taken around that area. So again, if you're a brand who has a geographical presence, or if you're a retailer with the geographical presence, then this would show you pictures around that area. And then of course, hashtags, which are the other main unit of Instagram. So Primal Kitchen has a hashtag, which means people are talking about it. And then you can look at, here's all the different posts that people are posting about Primal Kitchen. And remember, these are not the brand posting these pictures. These are just people who are enjoying their products, tagging them using a hashtag. And what I would be doing is, if I was working at Primal Kitchen, is making sure that I'm following, I'm liking, I'm commenting, and I'm engaging with everybody who is talking about it, either promoting or detracting. All right, that was Instagram, and that's the last tool we've got on our list today. So I really hope that you learned something about monitoring your brand mentions and your brand alerts. And as a special thank you for watching, we're actually giving away a 1-year subscription of BuzzSumo Pro to one lucky user who tags a friend and shares this video on Twitter or Facebook. So go do that and you might be the lucky one that wins. As always, keep sending us your questions and your feedback, and we'll be happy to cover more topics at the next Hubba Hacks. Until next time, thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic week. See you, everyone.